these are definitely wines that I can recommend if you're looking for a more approachable wine. What is up everyone, Julian Michael here of Social Vignerons. Welcome back to another wine video. This is episode number 11 of the Tasting with Julian show. Today we're tasting the wines of possibly one of the most beloved of all Margaux wines. We're tasting the wines of Chateau Giscours. Hi guys, I'm in Bordeaux this week, working around the Haut-Médoc season, so that's when all the chateaux are presenting the new 2017 vintage wines. This is a Grand Cru Classé of Margaux. I have quite a lot of wines from Chateau Giscours to get through, so this is going to be a two-part series. Today we will start with the second and third label from Chateau Giscours, and in the second part, coming up in just a few days, I will be reviewing several vintages, horizontal tasting of Chateau Giscours' first wines. First, a little bit of the context of what is Chateau Giscours. Chateau Giscours is a Grand Cru Classé, it's a third growth, so it was classified back in 1855 as one of the top wines in the Bordeaux region. It is still one of the top wines of the Bordeaux region. It's a fairly large property in Margaux, so we're talking some of the finest wines, the most refined wines in the Bordeaux area, and we are on the left bank in the Médoc sub-region of Bordeaux, France. Chateau Giscours makes mainly three wines that come under their name Giscours, and we will be tasting two of them today. The Haut-Médoc de Giscours, which is the third wine, not quite exactly the third wine, I'll talk about this in a minute, and the Sirène de Giscours, which is definitely the second label, so more affordable than the top wine that is just called Chateau Giscours. And I have two vintages of Sirène de Giscours. Hopefully we can find a trait, a similar trait, and define the style of what is Sirène de Giscours. So let's start off with the Haut-Médoc de Giscours. This is vintage 2015, one of the latest releases. So, as I was saying, this is not exactly Chateau Giscours' third wine. The vineyards are different. The grapes are sourced from to make this wine are not in the Margaux appellation. They are in the Haut-Médoc appellation, so they're just outside the Margaux appellation. Your ticket to afford the style of a Grand Cru Classé of Margaux. So let's dig into it. Straight away we've got a decent red, bright red color. The wine is vibrant, typically French, typically Médoc. You've got a lot of raspberry, a lot of cassis, blackberry, blackcurrant to the nose. Clove, chocolate. It's typically quite pungently fruity, but also restrained, a little bit of influence of the oak. The palate is dry, quite a nice acidity. It's salivating, it's very dry, it's juicy, it's a refined expression of a fruit, red berry characters, combined with the savory notes of clove and nutmeg, licorice almost, so there's a bit of bitterness to the finish. So typically slightly savory but fruit forward, fruit driven wine, but with the typical ashy, chocolatey character that we like in Médoc. This retails at about $25 to $30. You can age a Médoc wine for at least 10 years. It will get better. Simply for a Médoc wine, this is a very good wine. Complex, layered, nicely balanced. It's all good to go. Moving on to the Sirène de Giscours, the Siren of Giscours. So this is the estate's second label, which means that all the top batches, all the top wines, the top plots, the top wines in a given vintage go in the first wine, and then what's left, what's a little bit under the top level for the vintage gets assembled in the Sirène de Giscours. So supposedly you still get a sense of the vintage, you still get a Margaux wine, you still get the style of the estate, but you pay a fraction of the price. This retails at around $40–50 in the US, while the first wine will retail around $90 to $100, sometimes more dollars, depending on the vintage. So in many good vintages, second labels of Grand Cru Classé of tough estates are really good buys. Let's see if that's the case here. We've got two 2014 and 2015 vintage here, so two excellent vintages in Bordeaux. So see if the wines tell us the same story. The Mermaid of Giscours is the emblem of the chateau, and that's why the second label is called this way. So most definitely this is much deeper. There's a lot more dark coffee, clove, deep notes on the nose. We're talking more blackberry, slightly jammy, blueberry, dark cherry. So deeper, more serious. You can, sniffing it, you can sense that, oof, there is more wine, or there seems to be a lot more wine behind the nose. Definitely much greater body. Tannins are much finer. There's more tannins. They're not super fine and silky, but they are velvety, a little bit edgy at this stage. Now, this is a relatively young wine, 2014. This is a wine built to age for 10, 15, possibly 20 years. It's silky, it's full-bodied, it is still dry, loads and lots of complexity and length. There's a lot of tension, it's balanced, the mid-body, the finish are all concentrated, they're all focused. The elegance of Margaux, fruit is fine, is expressed with delicatesse, with finesse, with elegance, but there is a certain punch of ripe fruit, influence of oak, but it's discreet, it's well integrated. This is a wine, for me, around the 90 plus, 91 points. For $40–50, it's a fairly good wine. You get the Margaux name, the Margaux appellation, and you get a sense of what a Margaux wine is without spending all the bucks. So 2015 Sirène de Giscours. Color seems straight away darker, more impressive to look at. It's a younger wine too, so it's a little bit more purple. The nose is also deep, very jammier. The fruit seems to be riper here. Certainly even more body. This is a much silkier wine than 2014. I get a sense of a more silky texture to it. The 2014 was more velvety, a little bit edgy. This is silky. It seems there's more Merlot, perhaps. If you know Merlot, there's more cherry flavors, more round the body, flattering body. So it's a more approachable and more flattering wine straight away, but you get a bit less acidity, a bit less of the tension, the typical Cabernet Sauvignon from the Médoc tension that you get to this 2014. I would rate this a 91 out of 100 points. So, because I like it slightly better, the tannins are a bit denser for me, and for drinking now, 2015 is for me a slightly better wine, but for storing, to get a real feel of the Médoc and the Margaux 2014 is possibly the one to go for, but you'd have to store that one for 3 or 4 years, while you can definitely enjoy this one now. So, conclusion, Sirène de Giscours, for $40–50, you know, you don't find that many good Margaux wines for that price. If you find good vintages of Sirène de Giscours, like 2014 and 2015, these are definitely wines that I can recommend. If you're looking for a more approachable wine to drink now or within 2 years, definitely go for 2015. If you're looking for a wine that will age for a bit longer, a bit more punchy and characterful, 2014 will be the one to go for. I will be tasting and reviewing vintage 2015, 2011 and 2012 of the top Chateau Giscours Grand Cru Classé Margaux wine, coming up very soon on YouTube. I will see you soon in the wine world.